MarcyKate, I'm looking at the time, and
Oh my
I know
goodness.
I've exhausted all of it and flown right through it, but I had a wonderful time doing so, and I so appreciate you making time to be here this evening. This has been a wonderful conversation.
No, this has been really fun. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on. This was a lot of fun.
My last question for you, we'll call it a night. There's always some variation of if there was some bit of advice that you could go back and give to yourself at the start of your writing career or whatever would have been most useful that would have made a big difference for you and might make a big difference for those writers listening. This is my catch-all question. The thing that I wasn't smart enough to get you to say with my questions, this is our opportunity to catch it here at the end. What advice would you go back and give those writers listening?
That's a good question. I think if I could tell myself, I would be like, buy Scrivener, spend the money, and look up Google beat sheets. Okay, I would have started there. But I think really the most important advice is not to give up, which sounds like super corny, but it's true. Like, you keep writing. If you love writing, keep doing it. And don't stop because you get discouraged. Keep writing for you and doing it because you love it. Because I know I had that time where I kind of had to decide, am I going to continue doing this? Because this is brutal to get rejections all the time. And, the only really way you can guarantee that you're going to fail is if you quit, if you stop and you give up. And as long as you keep trying, you still have hope that eventually this will pan out and succeed. Because every book that you write, even though it may seem like you're writing book after book that doesn't go anywhere, it's worth it to write those stories because you're learning something with each of those, which I know when you're in the throes of it and the throes of rejection, that's just like, you're going to roll your eyes at that and not want to hear it. Because I was there too, I know. But really, though, every one of those books is worth it because you have gone through this, you have written a book, and that is no small thing. That is awesome. It's something to be proud of. And you have learned something from that, and you can take that into your next book, even if that one doesn't pan out. And that's important to remember, even though it's extremely easy to lose sight of and not value as much in the moment when you're being rejected all the time, because rejection really sucks. It's not fun, but you have to figure out how to deal with it.
How do you deal with it? Or did you deal with it? Now it's
well, it's funny. No, not I. It's funny because all the hundreds of rejections that I got, it really helped me build up a very thick skin. So, when I get negative reviews, it kind of rolls off my back. Like I look at Goodreads, I'll admit, even though for most writers, do not look at Goodreads. Do not do it. It's a terrible idea. I find it interesting because I'm curious to see what people are thinking about the book, and it does not bring me down. Like I'm not just saying that to say like it does not bother me. It's like, okay, what's the book for you? That's all right. But like my very first trade review was brutal, and thank goodness for my thick skin. Most of my trade reviews have been very nice, but the one for my very first book, they hated Monstrous, hated it so much. It was clearly not the right book for that reviewer, or they had a bad day, who knows? But like I found it because thank you Google Alerts, and I actually laughed because it was just so over the top. I was like, wow, not the book for you. Okay. That's okay. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And that's the kind of the magic about books, really, is that everyone's going to take your book and read it in a different way and get something different from your book. And maybe what they get from it is that they hate it and it's not the book for them. Hopefully not. Ideally not. But like inevitably, that's going to happen to somebody. Hopefully more of them than not will love your book and think, oh, this is really cool, or I didn't think of things this way, or maybe like think about XYZ in a different way than I had before, or they'll find some kind of ray of light or hope in it, ideally. But inevitably, people are not going to like your book, and you've got to wrap your head around it and figure out how to internalize that and not let it eat you up inside.